keep me from exalting myself. So the first thing Paul says, I thank God for my thorn because it keeps me in perspective. Well, whether we want to admit it or not, Paul had a serious problem. He had a very serious problem. I don't know if anybody around here had this problem, but Paul had this problem. He was blessed by God.
My Lord. Yes, sir.
He had a serious problem. His ministry was a massive success. Paul had a problem.
Yes, sir.
He writes to the Romans and he says, matter of fact, he says, Roman, I have fully preached the gospel of Christ from Jerusalem round about unto all Illyricum. So from Jerusalem in the far southeast, Paul traveled through Asia Minor, Greece, and even, covering a span of 1,400 miles. Y'all don't get the importance of that. 1,400 miles without a plane.
Come on, son.
1,400 miles without a car. 1,400 miles without a train. 1,400 miles without any form of automatic transportation. He had to walk, had to ride donkeys, he had to ride horses and camels for 1,400 miles. He had a problem. He had led 3 missionary journeys, each covering close to 10 cities of peace, having to cross both land and sea. He had a problem. He had began so many churches that he had to send pastors to lead them all. He had a problem.
Come on.
Matter of fact, he had such a problem, he's responsible for approximately 14 books of our 27 books of our New Testament: Romans, 1st, 2nd Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st and 2nd Timothy, Titus, Philemon, and possibly Hebrew.
Yes, sir. All right.
He had a problem. The man was literally a success. He was Mr. Revelation himself with 6 recorded visions and a gospel given to him by revelation. Paul was blessed, but he had a problem. And his problem was that his head got too big too easy.
Yes, sir. Come on.
I knew I wasn't going to get an amen right there. I said his head got big. Just a little bit too easy. Now, I know y'all around here, they don't have this around here, but in Camden, where I come from, we have folk that sing one good song right, and it goes to their head. Praise one good prayer in an occasional prayer meeting.
Come on, son.
And it goes to the head. Preach a pretty good sermon in a Saturday night revival. Can't even make it in Sunday morning service, but it went to their... They wore one fine, pretty looking hat to the hat wearing contest one time in their whole entire life, and it goes to their head. But Paul says that just before I could exalt myself, the Lord allowed the devil to bust my bubble. He sent a messenger from Satan, a thorn in my flesh, to torment me. He gave me this thorn to remind me not to get too big for my britches. He gave me this thorn to remind me not to get a big head. He gave me this thorn to remind me that he does not have to use me. Well, that's enough for point 1. But look a little bit further there in the text. That's around the next verse. It says, concerning this, I implored the Lord 3 times that it might leave me. Paul said, I thank God for my thorn because it keeps me in perspective. But he continues on to say, I thank God for my thorn because it keeps me in prayer. Paul says that he implored the Lord. I think I need to tell you that Paul had been stressed out because he had so many people around him trying to do everything but the right thing, wanted to preach for money, wanted to turn the church into a casino, wanted to bring the street into the church, and he stressed out because his church is falling apart, and he's stressed out, and he said that now that all of this junk have come in the 1 Corinthians Baptist Church, I need to get down on my knees and pray.
Come on, son. Yes, sir.
I think that's a good place to tell you that regardless of where you are in your life, you may not have nowhere else to turn, but you got one more alternative, baby. When you have nowhere else to turn, you turn to God in prayer. Because if Grandma was here, Grandma would say, just a little talk with Jesus.
Come on. Come on.
Tell him all about your troubles. He'll hear your faintest cry, and he'll answer by and by. Feel a little prayer wheel turning. That's how I know that the fire is burning. Oh, just, a little talk with Jesus. Y'all ain't feeling my little country sermon, but I'm going to preach it in high. Just a little talk with Jesus makes it all right. Now, Pastor Hyde, I heard him say, if my people call by my name. I'm almost there, y'all. Y'all don't rush me, please. He says, if they humble themselves and pray and seek my face. And when they ain't got nowhere else to turn, but they turn from the wicked way. Then will I hear from heaven. I'll forgive their sins. Hear the land. He said you got some difficult situations. He said, but you got some corrective action, and because you got some corrective action, I'll send some cultural healing. So he says, if you just turn.
Yes, sir.
All right. He said, if you turn from your wicked way. Paul, matter of fact, the text declares that Paul went to God 3 times. Matter of fact, if you read it in the Greek, it really means that he kept praying about the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Matter of fact, he prayed about it so much till it got on God's nerve.
Say it. Come on. Teach. Teach that.
Now, let me pull over on the side of the road, parenthetically tell you, since I think the pastor is supposed to be preaching some about prayer, that sometimes when you put some before the Lord, that you don't have no time to be playing with nobody. You got to grab hold to God and say, okay, God, I am not letting you go until you bless me. Anybody in this room other than me got something that you need from the Lord, and you made up in your mind that I'm going to pray about this thing until this thing change? Anybody in this room other than me made up in your mind that prayer does not change people, but it changes things, and when it changes things, it's going to look real good for little old me. Look a little bit further in the text. I'm just about done. Verse 9, a clause says, my grace is sufficient for you, for power is perfected in weakness. I thank God for my thorn because it keeps me in perspective. It keeps me in prayer. But thirdly, I thank God for my thorn because it keeps me in power. God looks at Paul and says, the reason why I gave you this thorn was not to make you bitter. It was to make you better. This situation is not designed to kill you. It's designed to build you. Anybody in this room going through something that you really just don't understand? You've been praying and asking God to move it out of the way all this time. Does not seem that God is answering your prayer. Well, baby, I came to give you your answer. I came to tell you that it's not to kill you, baby. It's to make you better. And so I'd rather leave you with the thorn and help you than take the thorn from you and hurt you. Matter of fact, I think I need to pull over on the side of the road, tell somebody, because I don't know who you are, but I think I need to tell you that some of y'all wouldn't come to church if you didn't have your thorn.
Come on. Come on.
Some of us would not pray, if we did not have the thorn. Some of us would not read our Bible if we did not have the thorn. And so that's why I think